Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. I liked seeing a story that was posted up yesterday, where basically Triple H was on a morning show, where basically he was asked about the return of Hulk Hogan, if Hulk Hogan would ever be able to make a return into WWE. I've been, covering this story basically ever since it broke, I believe back in July, when the story came out that there is a tape with Hulk Hogan, laying down some very racist remarks, where basically Hulk Hogan was told by WWE that he had to step down and basically, quit the company in order to try and save face for what was going on. Hulk Hogan, since being on the outside of the company, has basically said in every chance that he's ever gotten, whether if it's in any interview or any podcast or anything that's really going on, just basically saying that, not being a part of the WWE universe, not being a part of the WWE family, has really hurt him. He is one of the guys that really built up the company. And I think I honestly have a very, bias, feeling about this. I mean, Hulk Hogan, as I grew up, was my hero. I definitely know that what Hulk Hogan did was wrong, but I have a hard time thinking of WWE being able to portray a good feeling of the past without Hulk Hogan being involved. Definitely, if WWE was just a company that just put on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views each and every week, definitely there's no place for Hulk Hogan to be there. But Hulk Hogan, I honestly think makes the WWE network better. I think that definitely, without Hulk Hogan, you definitely have a hard time telling the golden era of professional wrestling, which is the 80s. And I'm definitely thinking that, there's going to come a day when Hulk Hogan is welcomed back into the company, even if it's just sort of like a per appearance deal, with Hogan coming in to talk about, the 80s and documentaries or, WWE network specials and this, that, and the other. I think that definitely Hulk Hogan really blew a big one when Hogan did what he did, and the deal that he had with the last one, basically being the flagship bearer of the company, basically being the guy that did the Susan Komen, breast awareness walks, doing, various charity deals, going on the network, basically being the guy hyping up WrestleMania each and every year. I think that's definitely a deal that's gone and more than likely is not going to be returning. Definitely since this happened, I think everyone has noticed that there is a definite more Stone Cold Steve Austin feel. And I know that there's times in Stone Cold Steve Austin's schedule when basically it doesn't, mean that he can come to Raw, whether if he's filming one of his mini reality shows or other things, like such as having to go down and work on his deer ranch. But, he's only a jet flight away. And if WWE really needs him, definitely there is something that they can really move into. Hulk Hogan really was a cartoon character of himself, but that's really sort of the way that he portrayed himself in real life, becoming the character of Hulk Hogan, living it 24/7. But I personally, as a fan, want to see Hulk Hogan as a part of WWE. I don't think it's going to be where it comes up that he has a chance to have the deal that he had before. But I love the fact that when I read this story with these quotes from Triple H, basically of Triple H saying that he does hope that there does come a day when Hulk Hogan can be a part of WWE. Basically, he thinks that, in America, there's a thing with celebrities where people like to see celebrities torn down. Basically, they like to build somebody up, make them as big as they are, and then once they really get to the point of where they've heard too much of them, they like to see that story where a character falls. And then once they get down to the bottom and they're tired of kicking somebody when they're down, they like to see that person come back. I mean, I can't think of anybody else other than like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is somebody that honestly, when he did what he did when he got pulled over for drunk driving, and then he started saying all the remarks about religion and things like that. Definitely he was somebody that lost his star status very fast. But then they were like this summer, when the Mad Max movie came out and they needed somebody to help promote it, Mel Gibson showed up at the premiere and he was treated like a real god, like he was, he was Mad Max. And it's hard to tell the story of Mad Max without having Mad Max there. And I know that they've refreshed that whole sort of story, and there's new characters playing it, but definitely when you think of Mad Max, you'll always think of Mel Gibson, and it's hard to do that without it. But I think it's cool that Triple H is somebody who wants to open that door back up to Hogan. I don't know when enough time is going to pass and they're going to be able to welcome him back and bring him in. But definitely, you think of superstar Billy Graham, who just signed a new Legends deal with the company after the fact. WWE was trying to cut some costs, and they basically looked at it as, we've done everything there is to do with superstar Billy Graham. We don't really talk about the 70s that much, so we don't really need him for documentaries or anything on the network. We've put a book out on him. We've put a DVD out on him. We've really done everything there is to do, so they ended up canceling superstar Billy Graham's Legends deal, which made superstar Billy Graham, basically his life started to spiral out of control to the point where he started saying a lot of remarks about the Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon's family, and things that just you can look up on the internet if you want to look up, but things that don't really need to be said. He basically was turning Vince into the devil. For somebody like that to be welcomed back, I know that Triple H is a real, wrestling historian, and some of the big things that he's done has been able to bring, Bruno Sammartino. He's brought, the Ultimate Warrior back into the folds, people that, WWF burnt bridges with, and it took years and years for somebody like Triple H to come in and just say that, it means a lot to have you as a part of our Hall of Fame. It's hard for the Hall of Fame to be real, and people to look at it like this is a real accomplishment when you have somebody like Bruno Sammartino, who carried the company for the longest times during the WWF era, not a part of this. And definitely with Ultimate Warrior, he was a big part of the 90s, and now we're seeing people like Shawn Michaels and Edge put in that were big time wrestlers in the later 90s and the 2000s. You definitely, these wrestlers from the the 70s, 80s, and 90s should be going in before these newer stars. Definitely, it helps the Hall of Fame sell tickets when you have somebody like Michaels and Edge going in a year after their career ending, so they're fresh on people's minds, and the people that go to WrestleMania are fans of these people. So I love seeing that Triple H is rooting for Hulk Hogan, and I'm rooting for him too. It's just going to have to wait until it gets to the point of America getting to the point where they forgive Hulk Hogan and they're ready to move on. Definitely the things that he said were, very hateful, very hurtful, and I know that he's sort of said that, he didn't mean what he said, and where he comes from, it means different things. But it's just one of those reasons why that word should just never be said, and that's just it. And he says that he doesn't say it anymore. It's just a fact of trying to get people to believe, what he's saying is the truth. So we'll see what happens with this one, and we'll move on and get on down to the next story.